Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about a bit of console war business, but a very strange topic. The biggest game of 2024 by far was Black Myth Wukong. It had millions of concurrent players, it just burned up the Steam charts, and it was only on when it came to consoles. You had to buy it on PlayStation. In fact, it sold a lot of PS5s, and so there have been rumors circulating. A lot of journalists and stuff have officially on record said that even though it's not publicly being talked about, Sony paid for this to be exclusive. And it turns out that's not true. It just turned out the director of the game about 2 hours ago posted a statement that they can't get it to run on Xbox. The Xbox is just so underpowered, they're continuing to delay it. And it may actually take years of practice. That's the actual words he's using. Years of practice to get their games to run on Xbox. But let's take a look at it. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So when people started sending this to me over on Blue Sky, to be honest, I thought it was kind of clickbait because this just seems, in my opinion, kind of aggressive. Black Myth Wukong is being delayed on Xbox due to Xbox Series S memory limitations, says the director. Now, that's it. This is not clickbait. This is the actual thing. He straight up says, look, man, this seems a bit wrong, but there's 10 gigs of shared memory. It's really impossible to get it without several years of optimization experience. This is wild. This is straight up them saying, yeah, we could get it to run on an Xbox Series X, but as we all know now, Microsoft has a very strict guideline. If it runs on Xbox Series X, it has to run the exact same on Xbox Series S. You're allowed to sacrifice like frame rate or ray tracing or some stuff, but it has to be the same gameplay. It has to be the same game. You can't get like a crappy 720p version and like an upscaled crazy co-op version. It has to be the same game on all consoles. And a lot of developers have said, honestly, how difficult that is to get a game to run on two separate consoles that are so different in power. It's not an easy task. So they're straight up saying that even though a bunch of people have said, the insiders, the reporters that have been saying Sony is paying for the exclusivity, that the developers have it done on Xbox, they're just waiting to release it, turns out that's not true. Now, what I did find interesting is that a lot of people, and I don't want to just say Xbox fanboys, but a lot of people are instantly attacking the developers and calling them lazy, saying games like Hellblade 2 or Indiana Jones look incredibly good. Those are able to run on an Xbox Series S, and not just run, but run good. So it's not like they're, running at 20 FPS or having freeze up or crashes. They're basically saying, okay, if bigger games that are more beautiful than Black Myth Wukong, and I say that as a person that does like the game doesn't look that crazy spectacular. The fact that they can't get it to work, it's probably just that optimization does take a lot of really good trial and error to figure out how to make it work. And for whatever reason, the Xbox Series S, it is a pain. Now, I did find this interesting. Somebody pointed something out here that I had not considered. Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay, so everybody's talking about this right now. I'm not going to point it out, but there is some new leaked gameplay and stuff that has actually hit the internet about Grand Theft Auto 6. So people are basically saying, okay, then how is GTA 6 going to run on Xbox Series S? Personally, I'm not too worried about that. In fact, MGB here says, okay, look, they're able to figure this out. The big thing he says basically is that you need more practice. You need to be able to have that experience of optimizing and scaling down to the degree that it would basically even fit on a Series S, right? Now, part of the reason I feel like this is a big deal, and part of the reason people are pissed about this statement, is that Black Myth Wukong is a very important game. It is a very big game. Not only was it the highest selling thing in all of 2024, but the fact that on Steam itself, they just did Game of the Year there. Game of the Year went to Black Myth Wukong, the best game you suck at, the best outstanding story-rich game. Everybody loves this game. And it seems like it sold a lot of PlayStations. They just released the PlayStation 5 Pro patch. A lot of people really like Black Myth Wukong. And I don't think there's any denying the fact that if this was on Xbox, people would buy it. People would enjoy it. This is the other thing. The people that are claiming, oh, they're being lazy about it. Oh, they're just pretending it doesn't work to get more sales on PlayStation. That's definitely not the case. If they could sell it in more places, they absolutely would. If you've seen any talks from the developers, they care a lot about this project. They consider this to be, like, honestly, the best thing that they've ever created in their industry. I think they want it to run on Xbox, which is why they're so disappointed in this. But, all right, let's talk about the controversy. So a lot of journalists last year were officially chiming in on the record saying it's not an Xbox exclusive because it's got an exclusivity deal with PlayStation, that it can't come to Xbox until some sort of deal is up, that Sony paid for the exclusivity. This is Paul Tassi saying it. There's, of course, Jez Corden. Wukong never mentioned Xbox Series S, to be frank. Also, 100% confidence from me with multiple sources that have been proven repeatedly accurate, including stuff that is coming through for next week. Xbox believes there is a deal in place with Sony to exclude Xbox for a period of time. Also, it was Paul Tassi who reported it first, but rumors were being shared around the Xbox team as early as Summer Games Fest. So again, don't attack these people. I'm not laughing in their faces, but it is kind of strange that for whatever reason, these journalists, especially people like Paul Tassi and stuff, these guys do have an inside scoop. So the fact that all these guys officially on the record, like through their publications, they're journalists. Well, maybe they consider themselves bloggers, but my point is the fact that they would come out and say, no, this is not that the Xbox is a piece of plastic. It is specifically that Sony is paying for it. Now, the extra wrinkle to this that we really don't know about is if Sony helped with development. It seems like they did to some degree. So something that PlayStation has been doing for, it seems like the last couple of years, pretty much ever since the PS5 came out, there have been multiple sources that have discussed this, and it's a pretty public knowledge thing. But what Sony will do is, for the bigger projects, the stuff that is probably going to sell PlayStations, to be clear, they send some of their own devs to help out. Maybe even if they don't do it physically, sometimes they'll send extra dev kits or teach them tips and tricks, extra ways to optimize it to get games to not just run better on the PS5, but sometimes even come out sooner in the PS5. If they say, hey, here's how we got this to work. Here's some engine tricks. Here's some ways we can get this to run even better, and it'll save you the time from coding, background stuff, light refraction, any little stuff to get the game out quicker, so they can sell more copies of it on PlayStation. I think pretty conclusively, I think this has even been pretty publicly, even if not explicitly said, I think there's actually some Sony developers in the credits of Black Myth Wukong who helped with development. I wonder if Xbox needs to do that. If Xbox needs to have a team that goes out and says, here's how to make the Xbox Series S work. My thinking is that as bad as this sounds, because it does sound incredibly bad, I'm curious what this means for the Xbox handheld. There is talks that right now they're going full steam ahead on some sort of portable version of the Xbox, and if they're having this much trouble running even normal games on an Xbox Series S, and theoretically this new console might be slightly weaker than an Xbox Series S, will those games work? Will we have a lot more Black Myth Wukongs? But what do you guys think about this? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you could, please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. I just realized I filmed this video with the window open. Hopefully you didn't hear any sirens. I think there were some sirens, but oh well. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.